In today's video, we are going to be looking at Acheron and looking at absolutely everything that you need to look forward to when it comes to building her out, grinding something out, or getting some of her teammates up so that you're able to use her on day one and enjoy her like the rest of us, because I'm very excited. I can't wait till she drops in almost less than a week. And this is just going to be a very exciting time for everyone. But before we get into all that, make sure to leave a like and a sub on the video if you're excited for Acheron and the many showcases I will be doing on Acheron. And I'm very excited for all the other characters coming in 2.1 as well. There's just going to be a lot of cool stuff. And make sure to leave a follow at twitch.tv/REHOO because I do stream there a lot now. And I swear it's a really fun time with all y'all in chat. But let's go ahead and start talking about Acheron and what you need to build before Acheron gets here. And starting off with the one thing that a lot of people want to look forward to is the light cones. The light cones are going to be a numerous amount of ones that you can use for a substitute if you aren't going for her signature. Now, as you may know, or as you should know, a lot of people have said it and it has been proven that yes, her light cone is a monumentous buff when it comes to that light cone versus every other light cone in the game. And reasonably so, it has a fat ton of stats and also debuffs that are connected with it that help Acheron with her kit, getting her ultimate faster, letting her do more damage. There's a lot of stuff that comes with it. So yes, her signature is by far going to be her best, but she does have some nice substitutes that you can run if you don't plan on summoning for it, or if you lose the 60-20 or whatever it's called, the 60-40, the 70-30. I don't know, I forgot the rates on the light cone banner. But to go into the light cones that you could use as a substitute, Kafka's signature is actually a really good option if you haven't gotten it already, or if you do have it and you don't plan on playing Kafka with Acheron, which we will be talking about later in terms of the teams that she can run, because this light cone is going to be giving you damage dealt increase, which is a good amount for level 1 super imposition, and then you will get an increase of speed for the certain amount of times that you hit, which is actually really cool for Acheron because it allows her to do her skill more, which allows her to get her ultimate quicker, which is really cool. And then lastly, the main thing that makes this light cone really nice is that with this light cone, you can actually get 2 stacks from Acheron's skill, one coming from her skill passively and the other coming from the debuff that you will be inflicting with the road being on this character. So this is actually going to be a really good light cone for Acheron if you don't plan on using Kafka with Acheron. So 100% this is a really nice light cone to run. If you want to run another 5-star light cone, this one's a little bit of an iffy, I'm not gonna lie. But the effect hit rate you're not really going to use, but what you can get is when they have 3 or more debuffs, because we are going to be working with nihility characters with Acheron, you can get a boost in crit rate. And then not only that, your basic attack, your skill, and your ultimate have a chance to implant Aether Coat, so that is a debuff that you can use to be able to get her stacks up faster, which allows for more damage for 1 turn. This isn't the best. Honestly, I kind of don't recommend it, but if it's a substitute that you have, I guess you could use it if you have Silverwolf's light cone. Really don't recommend using this though. I guess it's just an okay substitute compared to everything else. And then we have our best free-to-play option, which is going to be Good Night and Sleep Well. The higher the impositions you have on this, the better. And also with a debuff for the target that they have, you have the damage dealt by the wear increased by 12%, stacking up to 3 times. And with this light cone and the teams that we are going to be using with the nihility path for Acheron, yes, this light cone is going to be by far the best 4-star option for her. So if you have any of these light cones, go ahead and start working on them. I do recommend Kafka being number 1 if you aren't going to be getting the signature. Then it's going to be Good Night and Sleep Well. And if you are somehow don't have this light cone like leveled up for a second character, then you could just go for Incessant Rain, but this is your like last resort option in all honesty. So make sure to level up the Kafka light cone or Good Night and Sleep Well before, if you don't get a signature. Now going into the next thing, which is going to be very fun to look at, which is the relics, because yes, we have these relics already grinded out, and there are going to be some changes specifically when we do get the new simulated universe, which we may think about that we might have a new simulated universe with the relics that might go for Acheron. We don't know 100% sure, I'm just gonna say that. But going into her relics, we do want to have certain things on her substats, one of them being of course crit rate and crit damage. We all know as the DPS, and she is the main DPS, that you are going to want to make sure to heavily rely on these crit ratios to be a little bit higher, and also use the Pioneer set to give you a mass amount of damage and a mass amount of crit value when it comes to the 2-piece set and also the 4-piece set, with the 2-piece set giving you damage dealt to enemies with the debuff, which again plays into a part of her kit. So this is something that they're going to be getting. And also the 4-piece being increased crit rate by 4% and then increase the crit damage by 8 to 12% when an enemy has at least 2 to 3 debuffs, which they will have, as I said before, with the teams that you will be building. And then after the wearer inflicts a debuff, so this is where you get the debuffs that come from the light cone or anything like that, you get these boosted up by 100%, and this goes up to 8% crit rate to 24% crit damage. So that's a lot of extra value that you're getting from these relics. So this is the set that you want specifically. You really want crit rate and crit damage on the ratios that you're going to be getting on the substats. And then for the chest, I'm going for crit damage because I ended up getting a good amount of crit rate traces, but this can change into crit rate or crit damage depending on which one you need more. I'm running speed boost for the build I'm running, which is no sparkle or no harmony unit that can boost me up. So that's the one I'm going to be using when it comes to Acheron. There are certain builds where if you're going to be using sparkle or you're going to be using Bronya, you can go for attack percent boots, which is totally fine. I think these are two of her best viable options, and also these are the boots I was able to grind out, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. And then for now as well, we are rocking Inert Cell Soto because that is what available to us. There might be planar ornaments that are better for her in the next patch if you want to grind that out when it comes out, but for right now, if you want something to slap on her right now, it is going to be Inert Cell Soto. And for the orb, I actually have the wrong thing on. I am waiting for potentially the new planar ornaments to be her best in slot, and lightning damage boost is not the orb you want. You want attack boost because she overly saturates herself with a damage percent boost, which is going to make sure that this boost right here isn't going to be helping you as much and actually give you diminishing returns. So you really want an attack percent orb so that you're able to get the most out of your orb and not have it getting sized down because of the diminishing returns of her getting so much total damage boost that this is not going to worry or anything. So next is going to be her rope, which is going to be attack, of course, and then just crit rate, crit damage substat. So you want to do attack, attack, and then possibly attack again if you're going to be using Sparkle or Bronya in any way, shape, or form for her team. I'm using speed, so that's that condition as well. You could also interchangeably do crit damage and crit rate on the chest piece, and then after that just go into crit rate, crit damage. So that's going to be that. And then going into her actual teams or the characters that you're going to be using is something to talk about as well, because yes, when looking at the characters in the game, we are going to be looking at one of her traces, which is the Nihility trace, where if 1 to 2 teammates are going to be on the team, you are going to have a damage boost for Acheron, which is a pretty big thing to look at. Now, who are the prime contenders for this 2 Nihility character bonus? Is going to be characters like Pella, 100%, because Pella is going to give you the defense shred. She has the debuff on E4, which allows her to stack the mechanic as well. And also with the Pearl's Light Cone with Pella, you're basically guaranteed a lot of defense drop and also a guaranteed stack every single time Pella acts. And this is just a really good combo. Another character that does work as well is Silverwolf, because yes, Silverwolf has her massive defense reduce. Silverwolf has the bug implant. Silverwolf has as many debuffs as she possibly can, making all of her techniques or all of her abilities able to be able to drop a debuff, so you don't have to worry about what you do with Silverwolf. So she will also be an amazing pickup for Acheron, or amazing character to build out if you haven't already for Acheron. And then when it goes to a sustain, potentially if you're looking into that route, Welt is also one of them because he can work as a sustain. There are going to be certain situations where characters like Japard and also Fire MC could also work very well for this, because if you look into their kits as they give shields and put on trend in the universal market, now this acts as a debuff that adds burn, which is also a debuff. All the dots are a debuff, so that works. Every single time somebody gets hit, that adds a debuff onto them, that adds that burn onto them. So every single time someone gets hit, they're gonna make sure that that trend in universal market procs, and also they just start taking that burn, and then you get a stack for Acheron every single time an enemy gets hit or an enemy hits your ally. So that's going to be a really exciting process to go through when it comes to looking at the teams. Besides Welt, besides Pella, besides Civil, the other characters that could work very well, Gwenaifen is a possible option because she does have AoE, and also because her fire kiss gives you a more of damage boost so that you're able to do more damage to the multitude of enemies that you will be hitting. And then lastly, Kafka and Black Swan, if you want to rock some type of crazy sub TPS setup when it comes to Acheron, Kafka, Swan, and just have massive dodge popping, having Black Swan reduce the defense of these enemies and also give them a higher damage received debuff on them as well. There are a multitude of options in the way you can work around the Nihility path and how they as a team work with Acheron, when it can be Acheron, Pella, Silverwolf, Acheron, Black Swan, Kafka, Black Swan, and then someone like Gwenaifen. There's just a multitude amount of stages that you can go through when it comes to building a team for Acheron, and it's only going to get expanded even more and more as more teammates come out for her with the Nihility path and then being able to apply a debuff. We're just going to see a bunch of crap happening. Another thing when it comes to the supports that could be with her as well All the 5-star supports can potentially help her with a no sustain run in some way, shape, or form. Bronya can advance her forward. Ruan Mei is Ruan Mei, and then Sparkle's the same way. You can advance herself forward as well. So there's just a multitude of different ways that you can build a team when it comes to how you would work with someone like Acheron. Because if you look at how you would build a team with someone like Acheron, you can throw in all these guys out. Let's put someone like Selit in place of Acheron. Then we have someone like Kafka, and then we have someone like Black Swan, if I can find her, and she's right here. And then we add a sustain in the way we want. 2 Nihility characters, they're doing a fat ton of dot damage, and if you have Eve1 Swan, woo, that's gonna be nasty, because that's a 25%, if I'm not wrong, or 20% defense reduce, or not defense reduce, but effect reduce on the lightning, wind, fire, and physical. It's just nasty. Or you could go with a more supportive setup with it comes to Silverwolf and Pella, so you can drop these two, and then you have a full-on supportive line with a sustain at the end. Or you can go in a really cracked out way and go with someone like Silverwolf and Pella, and then throw in someone like Sparkle, throw in someone like Bronya. You can do a lot with Acheron, and she's going to be doing some nasty numbers when you want to go ahead and give her the max amount of Nihility boost that she's going to be getting from one of her traces, which you would really like. I know some people are looking at the option to be able to run 1 Nihility and then 1 Harmony, and then rocking out your sustain or something like that. Let's putting Locha there as a standby. Gallagher is going to be a really good option as well. Someone that not a lot of people are talking about, because he also has 2 debuffs that he can inflict, 1 from his ultimate and 1 from his basic attack when it's enhanced, if I'm not wrong, which is the attack down. There's a lot of different ways that not only Gallagher as a sustain, but also someone like Japar, someone like Aventurine, and the multitude of Nihility characters, the multitude of Harmony characters that will work for Acheron, even though she wants to have those 2 Nihility characters on the team. So those are going to be exactly what we're looking for when it comes to Acheron, and all the things that you need to build out. I think I covered all the bases when it comes to all those characters, but other than that, that's pretty much going to be it when it comes to Acheron and how excited we are to build her and everything that you possibly need. So other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. Let me know if you are excited for Acheron, if you're going to be pulling for Eidolons, maxing out to 10, 10, 10, all that type of stuff. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.